My name is Ronda Richard. I was first diagnosed with cancer when I was 35 years old with a tumor removed from my left side of my face, which required multiple surgeries and 5 years of visiting MD Anderson. At age 57, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm currently in treatment, but will finish in early September. I've been very fortunate to have a great support system of family and friends. And I want to start by thanking my husband, who I lovingly refer to as the Iceman, who traveled to the South Shore for months to get dry ice for my chemo cold capping. I want to thank my chemo cold cappers, Rachel, Cheryl, Sharon, and Lauren. Couldn't have done it without you. Can't forget to thank everyone for everything you did, especially for your prayers, though. I would like to thank Dr. Natalie Fitton, who initially diagnosed my cancer, my oncologist, Dr. James Carrender, my surgeons, Dr. Celeste Lagarde, and her nurse practitioner, Heather Steinhauer, and Dr. Richard Celentano. Can't forget the wonderful infusion nurses at Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Thanks, everyone. And this is my story. I'm the second of 4 children and grew up in a very rural area of Pointe-a-la-Hache, Louisiana, next door to my grandparents. Before I was old enough to go to school, I would play school with my sister. Since I was the oldest, I got to be the teacher. If I wasn't playing school or Barbies, you would find me at my grandmother's house. She was my best friend. We played house, but for real. I mean, she really taught me how to clean the house and cook. When I think about it now, I wonder, what was she thinking letting a 5-year-old stir hot pots on the stove? Of course, I think I was Grandma's favorite since she thought I could do no wrong. I loved spending time with her so much, my mom would have to call in the afternoon to tell her to send me home. We had tea and cheese and crackers every day around the same time. She even poured me tea from a real glass teapot, not a plastic one. After my grandmother died of metastatic breast cancer, my grandfather made sure I got one of her cookbooks and the glass teapot. For almost 50 years, I treasured those items until Hurricane Katrina destroyed it. As much as I loved spending time with her, it was hard to see her waste away as her cancer progressed, and unfortunately, that is the image I still have of her. I honor her every year and hold an annual tea party at Christmas time, which was her favorite holiday. Hanging out with an adult all day for most of my early years made me more mature than my peers. I was always doing more than expected of a kid my age, but this just became what I and others expected of me. Being a high school class president for a few years, graduating from college twice with honors, and working my way up from a department manager to an accessories handbag and jewelry buyer for a large department store in only 3 years. This company liquidated, so I received a pink slip like everyone else and felt like a failure even though the closure had nothing to do with me. I switched careers to education, which is what I always wanted to do since I was little. Of course, I set a high goal for myself to be a principal by 35 years old. I was disappointed in myself when I didn't reach my goal, but by age 37, I was principal of 2 schools simultaneously on 2 different campuses. I was working hard, and life was pretty good. Then Hurricane Katrina came along, and it didn't only take 2 of my treasured possessions, but it took away my feeling of being in control of everything. One day, I had everything organized, my family, my home, my school, and the next day, it was gone. I felt totally helpless. Not only did I not know what to do for myself, but I didn't know what to do for my kids. I realized my control, all my extra effort, rule following and overachieving to get what I had could be taken away so easily, but not my faith. I have learned that I can't control everything, but God does, and He has the plan and the timeline. I know it sounds strange to say I always knew I would get cancer like my grandma and my aunt, who I'm told I look like. This did not make being told I have cancer any easier because once again, I had to accept I had no control. I think my doctor thought I was a little crazy because as she told me I had breast cancer, I told her what surgery and treatment I was going to have. Nope, I didn't get to control that either, but was able to accept it as God's plan. As I look back on life, I could have slowed down and just enjoyed being a kid. Positives can come from negatives. I got to be an educator like I always wanted to since I was a little girl playing school with my sister. I still have trouble accepting that I can't control everything, but that's when I just have another conversation with God and remind myself He has the plan. Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future."